Hello, everybody. This is Isaac from Steam Thinkers, and today we're talking about makerspaces. So, makerspaces is a big buzzword in STEAM education these days, and some people don't really know what it is or their value. So, I thought I'd take a few minutes on this live broadcast to introduce you to a makerspace, and especially today, I want to talk about tools within the makerspace and how much does it really cost to make a makerspace. You know, as I think about makerspaces, or as many people think about makerspaces, really, they tend to think of them as expensive, where they've got high-end electronics and 3D printers and robots galore. But really, a makerspace can be anything you want it to be, as long as it accomplishes what you want it to do, which generally makerspaces are well, a makerspace is a collaborative space where that includes tools and materials to build, brainstorm, and to be creative. It's a great place for kids, well, adults as well, to make something fun. A lot of times there are projects, sometimes there are assignments from school, sometimes they're just fun things that they want to build. But it's a great place for kids to develop those thinking skills, those problem solving skills, the things that they aren't learning in school because they don't have the resources and they don't have the infrastructure to be able to give kids these maker spaces. Although that is changing now, but it's a really valuable place for your kids, and you, like I said, and you, if you want to get creative, to learn. So let's talk about what goes in a makerspace. Specifically today, I'm going to talk about the tools, and next week on next Thursday, we will be talking about the materials. I kind of split it up into two things. One being the tools, which are the things that you use, and materials are the things that you consume. Consume, not like you're eating the stuff. No, by consume, what I mean is the stuff that you are using, like paper clips and cardboard. Those are the consumables. Okie dokie. So let's get started. Let me show you some of the tools that I like to put in a makerspace. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them, but these are some of my favorites, some of the can't live without things. Now, I might mention before I start that, once again, that I try to do this on a budget because not a lot of families can afford to go out and buy all these expensive tools and toys and electronics. So I would let you know that most of the stuff I either was given or I got at a thrift store or I paid very cheaply. I know that's a word. I paid very little for at thrift stores or at regular stores. So you can make a makerspace for very little amount of money and give your kids a great place to develop those creative and critical thinking skills. So first on my list, because I love kids to work with cardboard. It's a great material to make prototypes with, to make their very first drafts. So let's take a look. So for cutting cardboard, I have three different things that you can do. Number one is the big old pair of cardboard scissors. Now, these are some beasts. And I can understand if you've got younger kids, maybe you don't want your kids using such crazy big, seemingly dangerous scissors. So I have other options, but this is an option. If you've got older kids or you trust your kids with the scissors, then go for those. But here's one of my favorite, a cardboard saw. I'm going to try to give you a close-up. This one is retractable, so with this little orange button, you can retract it into the handle, and it just stores like this. But I was going to give you a quick demonstration. The reason I love this thing is it slices through cardboard like butter. Right? Now, you can buy these things on Amazon for like $12 or something. They're pretty inexpensive. But if you really want an economical way to cut cardboard, go for the butter knife. That's right. Did you see how well that last tool that cost me $12 cut? Now watch. If you get a serrated butter knife, which once again, I got this at the thrift store, it will slice through cardboard almost as well. So that is, I would definitely include a butter knife, or if you can afford it, this $12 cutting knife for cardboard. You will not regret the purchase, but butter knives also work fantastic. They're fantastic. Okay, so one more thing to cut cardboard, and once again, this is more for the older children, is your Exacto knife. Now, mine's a little beat up, you can see, because I use it so often. I don't necessarily let the kids use this all the time. This is definitely an under supervision kind of a tool. So be careful with this, and maybe older kids only, depending on you and your family and your situation and your beliefs and whatever. Like your beliefs have something to do with your kids using Exacto knives. But I'm just stumbling for words trying to figure out how to explain a delicate way to say, use your best judgment in letting your kids use something sharp like this. But this makes a great way to carve little tiny little details in cardboard. Okay, next thing in a makerspace that I can't live without for cutting cardboard is a hole punch. Yes, I use a hole punch frequently because it's hard to make good holes in cardboard, and hole punches do work. So definitely put that in your list of things to put in your makerspace. And when I make holes in my cardboard when I'm making any sort of structure where I need to thread string or rope through, anything like that. So these are really useful. Okay, so those are my cardboard manipulating or cutting tools. Next, how do we connect that cardboard together? Well, this is where the glue gun, the hot glue gun, comes into play. This is one of my favorite all-time things to put in a makerspace. It works on almost all materials extremely well, and it is fairly safe. I mean, it does have a hot end, but my kids, even my younger kids, they use it all the time without much problem. And in a later live video, maybe I'll show you some techniques for working with cardboard and how to prevent your kids from burning themselves. Even when my kids have burned themselves, it's been pretty minor, and they just go, ow, and then they whine a little bit, and then it's done with. And then they never do that again. They don't burn themselves again. So, but I will show you in a future episode how to work with a glue gun. Awesome possum. And I might add that the glue guns work extremely well on wood, especially on craft sticks. Well, I grew up calling them popsicle sticks, but apparently they're craft sticks nowadays. So the craft sticks stick together extremely well using hot glue. Craft sticks and cardboard, two of my biggest materials, my consumables that you will hear about next week. Okay, then we have my final thing, one of my final tools that I will talk about today, or one of the final tools, are needle-nose pliers. They are great for holding things, for breaking things, for clipping things, bending, manipulating. It's a great thing to have. So I generally like to include needle-nose pliers in all of my maker kits because I have more than one. Okay, not really, but you know what I'm saying. Alrighty, and finally, tweezers. Tweezers are like this, but they can grab little tiny things. So if you're working with little beads or trying to thread string or thread, or you want to hold, like when I'm hot gluing, here's a tip, everybody. When I have kids hot glue, I will have them, if they're going to be gluing something, a little piece, I'll have them hold that piece with the tweezers. And then what I do with my hot glue gun, then I'll glue it like this so it can keep the hot glue away from their fingers. So this is a safety. This is great for keeping little fingers away from sharp and hot things in your makerspace as they're creating. Okay, so that's just a real quick, as you can see, it's not expensive stuff. It's stuff that you can get at a thrift store. It's stuff that you can get for free, or you might even have laying around your house. But there are things that I would not go without. I do have a couple more things that I wanted to show you that are really useful, but you may not have them and they're not always necessary. Number one is a bench vise. This little guy right here, I got him at a thrift store. In fact, I collect these things at thrift stores. I find them all the time. And when I find them, I buy them because I love them. Because you can, if you're unfamiliar with them, they clip to they will, here, look, I'll connect it to my hand just for fun. Okay, so they connect to your table, see, just like that. And then this thing rotates and you can, so if you want to saw or you want to cut a craft stick, right? You put it in this clamp and then it's safe because it'll be sturdy rather than, I got to get this off my hand. Okay, rather than taking a saw and trying to go like this to cut a craft stick, you can see where that might be dangerous. So having a little bench vise like this for the kids is a great way to keep their little fingers safe. And another thing is the saw. Now you can cut craft sticks, you can cut wood, you can cut all sorts of stuff with this. But once again, like the Exacto knife, it is something that can be dangerous, although generally they have small enough teeth where you can rub your fingers on them and not do too much damage unless you're really trying to hurt yourself. So, but once again, parental supervision is recommended. Alrighty. A couple more. Oh, and I forgot, in my essentials kit, a ruler. Always have a ruler in your makerspace. Always, always, always. I forgot to mention this one because you measuring things, you want to make sure sides match up. You can do all sorts of really cool things, cutting straight edges. So I like to have a metal ruler especially. Okie dokie artichoke. So there you go. That one thing that I forgot. And a stapler. Stapler meant to hook things together. Easy enough. Nothing too profound about a stapler. Well, that's all for the tools that I have today. So thank you for watching. Next week, like I said, next Thursday, I'm going to go into detail about the materials that you can put in your makerspace. And as you build your makerspace, you will find that your kids will have a great time. We built this great big one for my daughter, and she's constantly collecting toilet paper tubes and paper clips, and she throws it into her maker box, and then she builds all sorts of crazy things with them. It's pretty amazing, all the cool stuff that she does as with her makerspace and all the stuff that she puts in it. So yeah, so stay tuned for next week. And next week, we will also present you with a list of the basic things that you want to put in a makerspace. So it'll be a printable that you can print out. It will be great because that's what we do, is great. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.